Thank you for joining us on this week's Cardinal News Brief. I'm Logan Regstad. Wisconsin's presidential primary is April 5th, and candidates from both parties have been holding campaign events across the state. Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton held an event at the Gordon Dining and Event Center last Monday, where she told supporters to think about the vacancy on the Supreme Court due to Justice Antonin Scalia's death and how the next president might shape the court. Bernie Sanders held several events in the Madison area in the past week, including a town hall at the Orpheum Theater last Wednesday, where he stuck to themes of income inequality and overhauling the campaign finance system. A new Marquette Law School poll announced last Wednesday shows Sanders leading Clinton 49% to 45% in the state. On the Republican side, Donald Trump held a rally in Janesville last Tuesday that drew both supporters and protesters to the city. Trump attacked Wisconsin governor and former presidential candidate Scott Walker, saying, quote, "He's not doing a great job," end quote. Walker had endorsed Trump's rival Ted Cruz earlier that day. Cruz held a rally last Tuesday with his family and former presidential candidate Carly Fiorina joining him on stage to tout his faith and views on civil liberties and national security. Also, Ohio Governor John Kasich was in Madison last Monday talking to students about college affordability and the need for compromise both at home and abroad. Last Wednesday's Marquette poll showed Cruz leading the Republican field in Wisconsin with 40% support, while Trump had 30% and Kasich had 21%. UW officials are reminding students they will need a photo ID to vote in the election. Students can pick up a free voter ID card at the WisCard office at Union South. The university has also established a website, vote.wisc.edu, with more information about when and how to vote. Several college campuses across the country, including UW-Madison, were targeted by a cyber attack that resulted in racist, anti-Semitic, and anti-gay flyers being sent to campus printers. Dean of Students Lori Berkwam said the flyers came from outside the UW campus. Cybersecurity staff are working to secure campus printers as a result of the incident. The Associated Students of Madison University Affairs Committee is exploring the adoption of a new learning system to replace some current campus systems that require students to pay additional subscription fees. Committee Chair Sally Rohr said the new system, called Canvas, will cost less for students and is easier to use than the current system, Learn at UW. Members of UW's Faculty Senate Committee expressed concerns about moving to the new system when the University Affairs Committee presented it to them, but Rohr said much of the concern comes from the fear that professors won't be able to use tools they currently use. ASM Chair Madison Lanning said faculty members may not have to use the new system if they don't take attendance services like iClickers or Top Hat in their classes. ASM's Finance Committee may soon be called the Grant Allocation Committee if a proposal by the group's chair is approved. Committee Chair Ariella Rivkin said at a meeting last Wednesday the name change will clarify what the committee does and hopes it will help student organizations apply for funding through the committee. And now for an update on the arts scene, here's Trina.
After a well-deserved spring break, Madison welcomed students back with an exciting lineup of events this past week. On Tuesday, the famous photographer Sally Mann gave an inspirational presentation at the Memorial Union for the Distinguished Lecture Series. The Union also treated students and community members to a Free Art Friday Paintacular on April Fool's Day, where they created paintings and ceramics galore. At the Comedy Club on State, comedian Nikki Glasser shared her personal stories about sex, relationships, and other taboo topics in a hilarious comedy sketch. As for the music scene, Madison played host to Mott Is Yahoo, G-Eazy, Flatbush Zombies, Brian Reagan, Iration, and Peppa Pig. Here's Nick with the sports.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got lots of sports news for you this week. To cap off March Madness and the NCAA tournament, the Final Four in Houston played host to Villanova versus Oklahoma and North Carolina versus Syracuse on Saturday. To get there, North Carolina knocked off Notre Dame, who just barely took out the Badgers in the Sweet 16. After a turbulent and drama-filled season, Wisconsin certainly surprised people by making it all the way to the Sweet 16, and will look to build off that success next season, as they will likely return all of their rotation. In Badger hockey news, Barry Alvarez hired former Badger player Tony Granato as its new head coach. Granato will lead with his brother Dan and Mike Osiecki, who make up the newly highest paid staff in the country, looking to recreate the team's success of the last 2 decades. Badger hockey isn't the only sport that got a new coach this week. Wisconsin women's basketball also hired a replacement for their former coach, and that man is Jonathan Sippes. He was previously the head coach at George Washington and turned that program around in just 3 seasons, so he looks to be a great hire for Wisconsin.
That's all the news for this week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Cardinal News Brief.
In the meantime, stay tuned to the Daily Cardinal for a complete election coverage. We'll have a summary of the election results on the next Cardinal News Brief.